Okay, I think we've managed to fix our slight problem there. Right, I'm just going to check on YouTube. That stream should have actually ended there.
It has.
So hopefully, in a few minutes, the stream will start to come through again. My apologies. We actually did a test earlier because we've been having some technical difficulties trying to get the co-commentary working over the last few days. Discord rather helpfully installed a load of updates that stopped everything working. So we had to mess about with things, and we did a test stream earlier when I knocked the stream delay off to test it because I didn't want to have to wait 5 minutes to see if it was working, and forgot to turn it back on again. So my apologies to Tip Top for that. Hopefully, the boys and girls who put in on a great performance in game number one weren't aware of that anyway. So hopefully we'll now have the stream delay established for games 2, 3, and 4. Okay, Jerry, what was your impressions of game number one?
It was a brilliant game. We had a lot of action. You could notice that as when we got towards the final zones, we had 10 teams, but only 18 players alive, and half of those were knocked. So within about 10 seconds, that went down to 5 teams with 8 players alive. And you saw from Team 17 who won it, how important that revive was. If he had, because he was probably about 2 seconds, 3 seconds from dying. But his teammate through the smoke managed to get the revive on, and because even though he had low health, the 2 guns made the difference in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an interesting point. I think we were looking at it with about sort of 10 players left, 11 players left. And SD looked like, ultimately they brought home the win, so they were in control of it. But they had the 3 players, but they had that horrible rotation where the circle moved away from them. A lot of open ground to cover, and that nearly cost them the game. I think they had at least 2 players down. They were still outside of circle trying to get the revive on. That sort of rotation at circle 8 was pretty brutal for them.
It was, but yeah, it was. That's what counted in the end. The fact that also the other 2 players, 24 and 5, they were fighting each other as well. So player, I think it was, I can't remember. It was, his name was No Name. I think it was Team 24.
Yeah.
And he had the only hard cover. But he used up a lot of health fighting the player from Team 5. Eventually got the kill on the player from Team 5. But then had to move away from the hard cover without a huge amount of meds and had to go against 2 players.
Yeah. What I've also enjoyed was because obviously the first contact we got into, wasn't it, was down on Millbase Island.
Yeah.
With the guys from Vengeance there. Spectre, the only one who walked out of that. And one way or another, he made his way into some of the final stages of the game and interrupts a gunfight, climbs in the window, kills a guy from behind, drops to the floor, loots his crate and starts medding up. I thought that was a pretty good play. I quite enjoyed that.
Absolutely. And I think I saw towards the end that he had at least 3 kills. Now, we know there was 1 on Lily Base that he got. So he also got another one from somewhere. So he wasn't just, he was surviving, but he obviously wasn't being completely passive because he got 3 kills out of it.
Yeah. So some good play. Just hopefully we've resolved our earlier issues with the stream.
I think we can rely on their integrity at this level, not to be.
Well, you'd think, but ultimately, I think it's in tip-top rules that the streamers do put a delay on, and I basically forgot because we ran that test earlier, so it's entirely my fault. Actually, no, it's a co-commentary situation, so I'm blaming Jammy.
Yeah, it's my fault. I mean, it's second time here, so
absolutely, mate,
I've obviously jinxed it.
Yeah, must try harder. Yeah,
I will.
And some interesting moments in game number one. I think it was it squad 6, wasn't it? Sort of did the bridge camp that wasn't actually a bridge camp.
Yeah, I mean, from the map, it looked like they were camping the bridge. They were sort of lined up, but what it was, one was on the lighthouse just getting information, and the others were up by the petrol station and further. They were lined up. So when the squad did eventually come over the bridge, all they had to do was turn left. Okay, they weren't bridge camping, so you can't say it was a failed bridge camp. But they
Yeah.
couldn't put any pressure on. They couldn't do anything when someone did come along the bridge. So I'm not sure. It seems an odd one to me.
Yep, yep. It's an interesting passage of play. Right, so I think our technical issues have in fact been resolved.
Excellent. Yeah.
So the stream is now going out with a delay. So well done, Vimes. We've got players now starting to come into the room for game number 2.
It'll also be interesting to see if the players come in on time for the second game, having perhaps learnt a lesson from the first game.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think obviously with clocks and things changing, but as I recall, these scrims, the first time I didn't know, were at 7. They've now come back to or 7 UK time. They're now at 6 UK time. So some people actually, may well be sort of struggling to get into the room. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll get full teams for some of the games for the rest of this evening.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay. Yep. Yeah, okay. I think everything's working now.
Yep.
If that's the worst technical hitch that goes wrong this evening, I'll take it.
It is 2020, so your laptop's likely to catch fire or something.
Oh, don't start, man. Just don't do it. That is just mean. Don't do it. I'm going to get the International Space Station crash on my house or something.
You got me with that one.
Okay, so we've got players starting to come into the room. I think we've got about 3 or 4 minutes before the plane. It looks like the stream is up and running as it should be. And yep, so stream's up and running now. So people are now in the room. That's great. Cool.
Excellent. Yeah, I can. Yeah. Just checking the stream. Obviously, I've got that muted because I only need to hear one of you.
Yeah. Two is too much, mate. You just nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Okay.
So Miramar. I mean,
so we've got 2 minutes till the plane.
Yeah. So my favourite map.
And Miramar for game number 2. Yes, it's I think we had a chat about that the last time, didn't we, Jamie? About
we definitely did.
What our collective differences were on on map selection.
For those who don't know, I like sniping and mid-range fighting, so Miramar's my favourite. Whereas Vimes likes to see the whites of their eyes. He likes up close and personal, and he'd do away with the guns if he could.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's probably why I died a lot. But it is. I mean, Miramar is. I think pretty much everybody gets on okay with Erangel. I very rarely hear somebody say they dislike Vikendi as a map. I think Vikendi's a very good map, especially for squad play. But it's odd, isn't it, that Miramar and especially Sarnok, they can tend to be very divisive maps. People love them or hate them.
Yeah, it's because the nature of the maps. They are, Erangel and Vikendi. You've got both lots of gun types of play on there. It's very tactical, especially Erangel. Miramar and Sanhok are the two opposite ends. You've got long range fighting over big distances, or you've got up close and personal in the jungle.
Okay. So please don't do this to me. Please don't do this to me. Come on, in you come.
That's all right. It's loading.
Move about.
Have patience.
Move about. Oh, yes. nice bit of levitation there.
Yeah, well, he's getting higher as well.
Come on.
It's all right. They're all joining, so yeah. You can breathe.
Yeah, there's always that moment of absolute panic when the when the game delays. Just for a second, you're like, "Oh, don't kick me out! Don't kick me out!" Yeah, okay, there we are.
Excuse me a moment.
Right, if anything, we've... what's just happened? Do not mess me about. Please do not mess about.
Sorry.
Well, I'm assuming people are on the plane, but I'm not.
It will be.
God, I hate this thing sometimes. I really do hate this thing sometimes. God's sake, come on. I had a game glitch last night as well where the game just froze right at the beginning. Come on, come on, come on. Right.
We can see some movement on the map, so...
Yeah, I've got the map on, but for some reason the game screen itself is just...
I'm guessing it's a north-south flight line by the looks of it.
Right, well, we're going to try and...
South-north.
We're going to... Oh, it's not instancing in, is it? So we're going to see if we can jump to a player and it come in. No. Oh, damn it. I really do hate the game glitches in this game sometimes. It drives you crazy.
Yeah.
Come on, come on. Whoa, hang on.
I hear a parachute.
I hear a parachute. We've got a black screen now instead of...
We're getting somewhere.
Come on, come on. Now we seem to have lost... Oh, my word. Yeah, this is crazy. Now we seem to have lost sound and...
While Vimes is having a minor heart attack, it looks like we've got a western zone. So no coastal areas in play. And a lot of the teams look to be in sort of the mid-region.
Okay, I think we might be in business.
If we've got the defibrillator for Vimes, then we should be all right.
Defibrillator and a large scotch, please. Okay. I think we're up and running now. We've got a number of teams around here. Got guys from squad number 14, and that's RS0.
Yeah, it looks like we've got at least 4 squads around this area.
And here we are also with squad number 7, CA.
I'm going to assume they all know that at least some of them are there. They would have seen the parachutes come down.
I would imagine so.
It looks like the Monte Nuovo area, team 10, and I'm not sure who the other team is there. Maybe 5, is it?
Yeah,
team 5.
Looks like squad number 5, B4V.
Yeah, they've got a great position, centre zone. Not often the Monte Nuovo is centre zone.
Come on.
It's one of the joys of Miramar, this, unfortunately, isn't it, for a streamer?
Well, right at the beginning of the game, yeah, a lot of players, big map. I'm just happy it only gave me a heart attack for a couple of minutes at the beginning, so... okay.
It looks like Knight's taken some damage here, so these teams have obviously know where they are.
Yeah, it looks like these guys have come in as a 3 again, though.
Yeah.
Whew, okay. So we've got a couple of... interesting circle shift. So this... well, yeah, apart from potentially El Pozo, if it shifts to the north, we're going to be looking at probably fighting on some isolated hilltop towards the end of the game, I imagine.
So I'm predicting there'll be even though it's a very, it's obviously only first zone, but I think we're going to get thinned out a lot before we even get to that, because the number of teams are going to have to rotate quite a long way.
Oh dear, yeah, well, Tell you what, boys, just for the sake of the stream, let's not killing each other in gratuitous numbers. That generally sorts out the graphic glitch.
Thin yourselves out a little bit.
Yeah, thin yourselves out a bit. Yeah. So it looks like the guys from team number 8 and 12, they're sort of they are split up somewhat.
Oh,
that's our friend Just One getting knocked by Crazy by the look of it.
Yeah, so there's a benefit of having someone that's not with the rest of the squad, just overlooking from the warehouse area there. And teammate, he did not know that guy was there.
So it looks like guys from 7 Atoms have lost one of their players. And
got a good overlook here from the high ground.
Yeah, B2 Knight got a nice perch there.
Valentine took a bit of damage, but what it did mean is they know exactly where they are now because they heard the gunshots.
Oh, here we go. He took a little bit of a chunk out there, but doesn't manage to establish a knock. Valentine seems to be the most forward, so we'll just check him out.
So the knocks come in now. So they can be a bit more aggressive on the push.
Guys from 7 Atoms, looks like their isolated member trying to come in and consolidate this position. And looks like managed to get the revive on, but ooh, that might be interesting. Ooh, that can't have been too far off.
No.
And Valentine moving forward now.
Yeah, it looks like the third member of teammates joining now, so the numbers are a bit more even. Sounded like a close nade. So they obviously know where Valentine is.
Oof, that one took a little bit of a chunk out. Yeah, interesting. I think the guys from 12 here, bad boys. They now it does look like they're starting to close in now a little bit, starting to close the net around the guys from 7 Atoms. B2 Knight takes. Yeah, B2 Knight takes a great sniper shot there, establishes the knock, and looks like, yep, Valentine's starting to push in on this now. But looks like Crazy from Bad Boys has just been taken out and thirsted, isolated himself.
Yeah, interesting. They're all fighting in the blue now, so the knocks are going to be even more important when they start pushing.
I don't think our friend here, has he managed to get himself a helmet yet? No, he hasn't.
No.
Not great.
Damaged vest, no helmet, in the blue.
The nades are coming out again. That's, I mean, basically they're just waiting to establish even the smallest advantage here, and I feel there's going to be an aggressive push.
Yeah, we've got sort of a 2-on-2 and a 1-on-1 here. We've got 2 separate battles going on by the looks of it.
Here with Nexa. You've got B2 Knight and Valentine in front of him. Now, he's certainly got a peek of Valentine there. Okay, and now we're getting into it. Some rounds going in. Antonu, by the look of it, has now been knocked, and I don't think his teammate can get to him, so potentially going to be thirsted up pretty quickly. Here we are with Valentine, and Nexa does the business there, manages to get the goes for the thirst, and unfortunately that means he gets taken out from behind.
Yeah. So they're going to have to go for the last 7 Atoms player here before they try the revive.
And I think that's it now. Oh, but he's doing a great work there, and oh, he didn't manage to get the thirst on, but he went for it, didn't he?
Yeah, that was, I mean, Yeah, that was pretty impressive work there. And it manages to run back for the revive, but they are well into the blue here. They're, well, you can see there's this 2,500 meters away from zone.
These guys are in desperate need of a vehicle and probably some meds.
Yeah, that's the thing. Both teams used up a lot of meds, so even if they loot their crates, there might not be a lot in there.
Let's check out the guys from Next Gen. They're in centre zone. Yes, the hovering 4x4, often seen on Miramar, well-known phenomena. So we've got a couple of guys looking to potentially establish themselves in Monte Nuevo. We've got guys from Boom Team 21 just off to the south, and got plenty of teams now rotating in. Guys,
Team 7 looking good. They're down in the south, down at Valdemar. There's no one anywhere near them. They've got the whole town to loot.
So it's going to be really interesting to see where our next zone pops, actually.
Good to see Team 11 coming down the sort of the western road there. They're the ones that came into game 1 as a 2 and ended up as very quickly as a 1 with Spectre. But they've managed to
looks like
get all 4 players in.
Looks like they've managed to empty that as well. Jump back with our friends from IQ. So they got at least one player from here again out there. We've got the guys from BM on the high ground.
It's good to have the high ground there, but one thing I've found is, unless you know where the players are over in Monte Nuevo, it can be quite hard to see them in between all the buildings. So the high ground isn't quite the advantage it would be if that was open ground below.
Everybody happy to keep this a fairly medium range engagement at this point.
Good.
And looks like we've got a solo player. Yeah, we've got a solo player from squad number 18. I think he's taking some fire. Oh, some of the guys from 18 taking some fire. And yeah, legend there. Certainly took some rounds.
Yeah, I thought at first he was out in the open, but no, he's in the safety of a building.
So that's our general situation. We got the guys from 21 up on the high ground. We got guys from IQ squad number 10 actually inside the town of Monte Nuevo, and our friends here from here again, just on the opposite high ground. And looks like we might also have some action coming from the rear here, Jamie.
Yep, here we go. Come Team 19 coming in for a bit of third-party action. All 4 of them, it looks like, know exactly where Team 18 are in and coming in for the push. Team 18 are aware of Team 19 coming in behind them, though, by the looks of it.
Yeah, everybody, look at this. They really are focusing centre zone here, aren't they? Basically, anywhere where there's some buildings and some cover, people are hoping. Might be an interesting end on Miramar, actually, if we ended up with a congested one around the buildings. It's not often
we're
you get
down
that.
to 15 teams already.
Not often you get a fight in a built-up area, final circle in Miramar, so that might be quite interesting.
Yeah, wondering how this one's going to go, actually, because we've got the Team 21 up on the high ground, Team 18, Team 19 behind them. They're all lined up, Team 10 in Monte Nuevo. It'd be interesting if we have a hard zone shift away from this area, what they do.
Well, phase 2 of the game, phase number 3, is about to start, and a lot of people banking on staying centre zone here. quickly jump up with the guys from 17. There, looks like they're rotating past team 14. That's RS0. Also got some players there from Toxic, not too far away. And oof, yeah, anybody who went centre zone and got themselves a nice defendable spot, that circle's worked out for them, Jamie.
Absolutely, yeah. So a bit of hard pushing, making sure you've got a decent spot. Team 10, who are holding Monte Nuevo quite well, they're a bit unlucky there not to have the zone. A lot of shots going out between Team 14 and Team 17 there. I'm wondering if the attention of Team 14 was split between the two teams either side of them.
Yep, potentially. And it now looks like 14 are also looking to move here. Or sort of drove up and drove back down.
Coming back down. I think they went for the chase on, I think it was Team 6 that went up the hill. But decided against it in the end. They're not far away from zone, only a couple of 100 metres, so they haven't got to do a hard rotation. It depends, I'm assuming they've got vehicles, I don't know. I mean, almost everyone's in zone already, so like you say, it's getting a bit congested for a Miramar zone.
Absolutely, and still got 51 players left alive. I think we only jumped with about 70, 72, so... So yeah, people looks like they're reasonably content to rotate in early, especially if they've got some cover and effectively waded out a little bit for this in this middle phase of the game.
Yeah, they have got a vehicle, their Team 14, but it's a bit of a smoking ruin. I wouldn't trust that across Miramar. Interesting to see Team 7, who were holding Valdemar on their own, no one around them. They've rotated well into zone here, just to the west of the drop there. Ooh, looks like a bit of a streamer's curse there as you switched over to the player, unfortunately. But good work there from Team 16. Very, very open in the southern area of the zone. Everyone's split up into the north, particularly that northwestern area. People trying to hold the high ground there, I think. You've got the cliff edges. Could be quite a contested area where Team 11, Team 7 and around that area. Team 10 have managed to rotate in from Monte Nuevo, and yeah, it looks like almost everyone's in zone now. Lots of sort of roads and valleys to try and get across. Not everyone's going to be able to fit on a hilltop here.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it, Miramar? If you do find yourself a defensible position, sometimes people are quite reluctant to leave it unless they have to. And yeah, stitch that. Okay, yeah. So that's a lot of movement got to come now. That's worked out well.
Very lucky.
Worked out well for the guys from team number 7, though. Absolutely.
Yeah, they looted the whole of Valdemar to themselves. They moved into zone early, and it's paid off for them because they've got the high ground, virtually centre zone. And unusually, when you get centre zone or near centre zone, they won't have players on every side because there's no one to their west.
Come on,
That's the trouble. We've still got 46 players left. You were hoping they'd thin out a bit.
I was hoping they would. They're not sticking to the script, these fellas.
No. It does mean we're going to have a very chaotic next zone.
Okay, here we are with the guys from squad number 11. That's Vengeance. Early exit for a couple of these players in game number 1. Glad to say that they've managed to get 4 players in this time, but they're under the pressure here.
Yeah, Team 7 making the most of that high ground there. Yeah, so no one to the west of Team 7, and everyone else to the east.
So squad number 24 from Kuma. I think they came second, didn't they, in our first game?
They did, yep. Yeah, it was No Name who was in the hard cover on their own.
So they've Looks like they've got themselves a couple of well, it did look like they were going for a rotation. No, it looks like Lit here is just getting himself medded up. There's a guy from stall number 20, not far away from these fellas.
Yeah, I don't
Probably
know
on that high ground.
own.
Yeah.
Maybe not wanting to take on a whole squad on his own when
Oh.
he's that close to zone.
Okay, so rotation coming in for the guys from 24. Their scout has already gone out. He'll certainly be aware that he's got team number 11 and team number 7 not too far away. And looks like they're going to be getting into it straight away. So park the vehicle on a reverse slope, and here we go.
Yeah, with a red dot as well on Miramar. Oh no, it has got a scope. They've got a team coming in to the left hand side. Oh, maybe not. No.
And we're phase 4 of the game, and phase 5 of the game, and we still have 42 players left alive here.
Yeah, this is going to be a very busy hillside here. Team 7. That early rotation is really paying dividends for them now.
Spectre taking some rounds, and it does look like his teammates are well under pressure here from the guys from squad number 24. Taking some knocks, trying to get the res on.
Yeah, so chewing through their meds already.
And that's the second time Spectre's been spotted and taken some hits, but 24 not having it all their own way. They've got a player down now. All these teams all fighting over these this small little area of the hilltop here.
Yeah, Team 7 able to just pick people off as they see them. Knocks.
And yeah, worth it. Just gets knocked out. And, Nade goes in there, and it does a huge amount of damage. Now that's Melissa knocked.
That was unfortunate. That came in from his own player there, Kuma.
So looks like
did get the knock on the opposition, but also took out his own player.
So it looks like they should be able to get themselves up and be a 3. Spectre on his own again, that poor fella. His old team just wiped out in that push by 24, so he's going to be playing the game on his own again. We're down to 31 players, 12 teams left alive. Phase 5 of the game just coming to an end. Phase 6 starting very shortly.
3 kills for Spectre, same as the last match. They must be getting used to this. Bit of deja vu. The only difference is the setting.
Let's check out the guys from Bad Boys here. They're right at edge of zone on this high ground. Looks like they're getting into it. The guys from squad number 21, Valentine getting the nade out, but takes a big chunk of damage for it.
Yep, they've got Team 7 behind them. Team 21 desperately trying to push into zone because that blue's going to be really hurting them in a minute.
And 21 absolutely in a horrible position here. 2 players knocked, and here they go. Here comes the push, and yeah. Toxic, the only member of his team up alive, and he's going to have a lot of difficulty even getting meds in time. And he's just got no choice but to go towards these guns here.
I think, actually, with it being a points-based scrim, I think what he's going to do is just stay out in the blue.
He may well do.
Pick people off if he sees anyone, but otherwise he's not going to give anyone his kill points. So, sensible scrim play. It does hurt, but sensible scrim play.
So 7 have established themselves a good position in zone. Everybody else fighting to make their way in.
Yeah, I see Lucky from Team 7 has sort of gone out to the edge of zone.
And
Team 6 taking the fight to Team 7.
But yeah, it's just young boy from this team now, and he's going to get pushed by absolutely everybody here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty much the only hard cover that's left in zone, isn't it? Nearly. I think we're very edge of zone here.
19 still looking to rotate in. Looks like the guys with 7 now coming under increasing pressure. Got the guys with 12 just below the ridge there.
That strong early rotation, it paid off for a long time, but they're now feeling the pressure of all the other teams almost ganging up on them, just trying to get that hard cover. So there's only one of Team 7 left fighting.
So there's our next circle shift, and that is very, very brutal indeed. Everybody apart from 12 really got to move.
Yep.
So
12 and
yeah,
24 facing off against each other.
we are literally going to be fighting for this little group of buildings right on top of this hill here. 19 coming into circle right on the edge. I have to say, 19 have the numbers here, so at some point they're going to be pushing. Isolated member of team number 7 on his own there. He's going to be feeling the pressure very, very soon, I imagine.
Definitely. I mean, 19 have got numbers, and we saw that work in the first game, but it nearly didn't because they're so far out of zone. And it's similar here. 19 have got numbers, but they've still got to push into zone.
Valentine putting a hurt on one of the guys from 24 there. We're down to 8 players left alive. 3 teams still contesting. Great bit of spray work with the M4 from Valentine. And again,
brilliant shooting.
One of his
Good
teammates
reactions as well.
One of his teammates taking quite a bit of damage, and looks like 19 are now pushing. So Valentine has now been knocked. Some great work before then. Knight has also been knocked, and that's it. That final push came through, and yeah, the guys from Bad Boys doing a great job there. But ultimately, it was the guys from Next Gen who took the win.
Great push.
Just absolutely great push at the end there. And that last couple of phases of play was crazy. So many people running around. It's great fun to see.
I'm glad you're doing the main comms on that one.
Yeah. Just go, who do you follow? Yeah. Okay, in first place, we have the guys from Next Gen. They pick up 10 kills. In second place, we have Bad Boys. And that is 12 kills for those guys. And in third, Kuma. They pick up 3 kills. And without doubt, our kill leader on the top 3 there is B2 Knight with 7. We're just going to check down the rest of the list and see if anybody
While you
else.
look at the kills there, just looking actually at Team 7, one of the disadvantages of them having an empty area to loot and then holding centre zone for so long, there was no one anywhere near them, so they didn't get many kills.
No, absolutely, and I mean that's the thing. I mean, I know some teams do like to try and play aggressively, and will go hunting for contacts. But I mean, at this level, I mean, everybody you meet is going to be dangerous. So it doesn't look like we've got anybody with more kills than B2 Knight there. 7 kills for that team, 12 kills for its squad.
Do the rest on your own for a minute. Hold on, I'll be back.
So well played indeed. Okay, boys and girls, that is game number 2 on Miramar. We will be back very shortly for a bit of post-game analysis, and we'll be going into game number 3. See you soon. Okay.
Apologies.
Okay, so game number 3. That's going to be on Vikendi. Room is now open. So yeah, give us. Just going to type in the bits and pieces. Jamie, what was your apart from the insanity of having 40 people running around in phase 5? What were your general impressions of game number 2?
Well, actually, that was one of the main impressions, that we had so many players late in the game. We had a couple of early skirmishes, but as is a feature of Miramar, a lot of it was late stage, and it was across the dunes. It was across the the small hills that you get on Miramar. A couple of buildings in play, but not many. Team 7, I remember, they had the whole of Valdemar and virtually the south of the map to themselves, which meant they didn't get many kills. But it also meant that they could establish a good position. They got lucky with a couple of zones, but what that meant is there were so many people left. All of those people were centering on where Team 7 were, and they just couldn't hold everyone back.
No, it is. I mean, yeah. They had cover. They had one of the few pieces of cover around, but that basically means that you are just about a target for everybody else coming in. Now, so I mean, we've seen some teams do it. I mean, CN1, I think, in the last time we both did commentary, they held their position in the Erangel game absolutely magnificently. They literally used that as a fortress and fought from there. So it can be done, but in such an isolated position, that was probably with so many players still shooting. That was always going to be a big ask, I think.
Well, I'd say that the big difference is this time they had buildings, and you can become a little occupied with defending the building rather than just the position.
Well, certainly.
So where we saw that game in Erangel with CM1, they were aggressively defending an area. It wasn't just the trench where they had the vehicles. They were spreading out. They were making sure that no one could come near where they'd established was their sort of fallback zone. Whereas Team 7, in that game, perhaps because they didn't have a lot of contact, that they didn't have to do this, but they seemed to just sort of hold the buildings a bit more rather than just sort of making sure they held like a perimeter around them.
Yeah. It's an interesting, wasn't it? I mean, it's Erangel Vikendi's a classic one for it, where people hold up in compounds because there's so many of them on Vikendi. But I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, are you protected by being in the building, or when you get pushed, are you in fact trapped in the building?
Exactly.
Because everybody knows where to throw the nades. So it's, I mean, that's why you see a lot of these guys. I mean, literally, as soon as they get pushed, they're out the windows, they're back in the door, they're up and down the stairs. I mean, they just never stop moving. It's like watching a game full of 50 people like Nixie running around. It's it's bad for your eyes.
It really is. I mean, it makes you dizzy.
Yeah, it's bad for your eyes.
The other thing, of course, is the nature of Miramar is, yes, there are lots of hilltops and you can defend a hilltop, but there's always somewhere higher. There's always somewhere where someone's got sight of you, and especially if there's 50-odd players coming at you, it's like a swarm of zombies coming up the side of the hill. You just can only hold them for so long.
Well, that was
if you're going to try and hold that one position.
That sort of final 2 minutes of play was very, very intense, wasn't it? I think we had about four or five different, about four teams, I think, each with differing numbers of players. But literally, there's those couple of barns on top of that hilltop, and that's just where everybody had to go, and everybody pushed at the same time. And we went from, having about sort of 10, 12 players around to having a chicken dinner a few seconds later.
Yeah, unusually, the finish of the Miramar game was very similar to the late stages of the Erangel game. Not quite the same finish, but we had teams that had numbers, but they had to come out from outside the zone. And we had someone who was holding hard cover, but could only do it for so long.
So, Vikendi for game number 3. Probably got about 5 minutes before the plane. As I was saying earlier, I mean, Vikendi's a map... I think for squad play, I mean, oddly enough, I never used to enjoy it that much in solo play. But in squad play, I think for squad play, Vikendi probably is the best all-round map, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, you've got plenty of places where you can get some close-up fighting. I mean, typically you likes of Villa, Cosmodrome, and places like that where people go to, and some of the towns. I mean, we've seen it in some of the scrims. Where you get a town finish on Vikendi and you get some buildings that you can't get into. You can only use the rooftops. You get some buildings where you might have 3 teams on 3 different floors, and then they're all running into courtyards. So if you get a town finish on Vikendi, but equally an open ground finish can be like an Erangel match.
Yeah, yeah, it's an interesting one, and I've noticed. I mean, you get a lot of very fast pushes, compound crashes, uh, nades going in, people dashing up the stairs. Yeah, quite often you get shot in the stairs in Vikendi.
Yeah, and also you've got those little exploding cars as well.
Oh yeah, the bullet magnet. Yes, yes. That. That company really does need to work on its PR, doesn't it? Because it can't be good for the brand image to have their cars blow up every single time someone shoots at them.
No, absolutely not. But that's another feature of Vikendi. You know, they're quick, they're nippy, they're easy to drive, and they're great for when you're going through the trees in Vikendi. But if someone sees you, you've got to be very, very careful.
Yeah, and especially if you use your. I should imagine most people do, but I mean, of course, the difference with these guys is, they're taking multiple vehicles per squad,
Yeah.
which is something I think we did at sort of lower tier scrims. I mean, we didn't tend to do that often.
No.
But I mean, on Vikendi, I mean, as soon as if you were driving up a road and saw any other mode of transport, you'd ditch that thing and jump into a Daisy or something like that.
Even one of the snowmobiles, because there's no cover, but they're quick.
Yeah, yeah. So it's it's just another thing that makes the Vikendi map interesting. I say I didn't used to enjoy it that much for solo play. I think solo play Silent would be my
But
favourite, but
it's strange because
squad play was always great.
yeah, I mean, streaming and commentating on Vikendi is always brilliant because the one thing you hate when you're a player is a hard zone shift. Now, you are almost guaranteed that the first zone on Vikendi will take out 3/4 of the map, and probably a third of the zone will be water.
Yeah, yeah, we've seen that quite a few times. Although, as I recall, the last time we covered Tip Top, it was actually quite a benign zone shift initially, wasn't it?
It was on Vikendi. The Vikendi map was very benign. Unusually, it was quite a central zone, and there weren't any particular hard shifts either direction until you got towards the later, the sort of phase 6, phase 7 games zone. Sorry.
And the other feature of Vikendi, because I used to rotate the coast a lot, and the one thing I noticed all the time is the amount of times you see a flare drop, sort of 2 miles out to sea.
Well, that's the thing. Because the zones do often go out that far into the water that you do find drops that far out.
Yeah.
Now, unlike somewhere like Erangel, you don't get a lot of people rotating using the water, even though it's often a feature. You might find people, swim in the coast occasionally, but very rarely does anyone use the water.
No, sometimes people will boat across from Millbase Island, won't they, to avoid the bridge, and they may well use the boats to hit up either the east or west coast. But yeah, I mean, very very little time is actually spent in and around the water on Erangel, is it?
No.
Okay, I think we've got about 2 minutes before we're in, and
Yeah, sorry for having to mute on you before.
that's all right.
Apparently, my neighbour didn't know I was live casting.
I was just thought you're just going a bit crazy and sitting in a room talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Which, I mean, I do that every other night, but tonight I've got someone that's listening.
Right, fair enough. You keep telling yourself that, buddy.
Or someone that's pretending to listen.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think at one point we had Arthur DH in the chat. Bazza was in there. Simon's in there.
Yep. So be careful what you say because she is listening, apparently.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
So I'm not. I see someone cheering on Next Gen from
Yeah.
Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, it played very, very well in that last game. Kuma actually have done well in games 1 and 2, haven't they? I think they picked up a second and third place so far.
Yeah, so good placement points. Quite a few good kills as well. I've seen they've had some good strong rotations, which is one of my favourite. I love watching the tactical and the strategy, and watching where people are rotated, and more importantly, when we've seen it a lot in the last couple of in these 2 games is people will just instantly break away from a fight and rotate round to zone.
Yeah, and it's just I mean, these guys have got very good squad organisation. They'll have an in-game leader, and when the in-game leader calls it, you move. Accurate, fast, and sometimes early rotation can be absolutely vital.
Yeah. One of the features of when PUBG does an update is not everyone has downloaded the maps. Unfortunately, we've just seen someone kicked.
Oh, really?
I didn't see which squad they were from. I just saw a notification that someone's been kicked for not, and it's an unfortunate thing. And I also know for a fact that sometimes there's a bug as well where it doesn't think you've downloaded the maps where in fact you have.
I know last night.
Exactly, yeah.
Last night's scrims, a couple of people did end up getting kicked. Okay. Seem to be. Okay, and yeah, okay, here we go. We do seem to be getting some lobby glitches.
Yeah.
In the maps, I mean the map count, the game count is not counting down. I'm hoping that doesn't give us the same problem we had before, where it just wouldn't instance.
Well, you have got people in lobby this time. It's only 62 people.
But I think, yeah, we've got the same problem we had coming into the
Yeah, it looks like they've all gone into the plane. Bar one on their own, by the looks of it.
Yeah, there does. Ever since this last update, this glitch seems to be happening quite a bit.
So yeah, we can assume that. Yeah, we can assume everyone's on the plane, and we will be soon as well. There we go. So I'm guessing it's a southeast to northwest flight line, judging by where people are jumping from.
We really do need to get these glitches sorted, Mr. PUBG, wherever you are, because this is happening in nearly every lobby now.
Yeah. And it's not a tech issue either, because we both know you've got a decent tech setup there for the game.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting one, but yeah, I mean, obviously it's nice to see the flight path, but it's pretty obvious where this one is.
Look at Team 10 almost on their own up in the northeast of the zone there.
Yep, heading up to Trevno.
Everyone else spreading west. They obviously know something everyone else doesn't. Oh, wow.
And there we go. There's our zone shift. So, yep, hard shift down to the south. A lot of teams have already jumped there, though. So, a few teams up in the north, but quite a few of these teams should be okay. Looks like 13 are the only people who jump Villa. So, they'll have Villa all to themselves.
I mean, yeah, Team 10 up in Trevno, they're up in the northeast of the area. They're the only teams up in almost the eastern half, let alone just the northeast. But they're also the opposite end of the map from the zone. See, Team On from Next Gen's already been taken out.
Yeah, they dropped very, very close to guys from squad number 12, Bad Boys. And yeah, I think we probably had some players kicked here, Jerry. There's a number of players number of teams here that just don't seem to.
We're only looking at the ones that are in the close proximity of each other. So yeah, they do have all the players by the looks of it. Next Gen.
And yeah, these game glitches right at the beginning are starting to become too problematic, I think.
Yeah, it's a regular occurrence now, unfortunately. But we do know that it will sort itself out.
Eventually. That's the problem, though, because quite often at the beginning games where you're going to get a lot of action, which is this is really, really annoying. Yeah. Right.
Huge amount of players congested down in that southern area.
Yeah,
like you say, already in zone, but it means that they're going to thin out pretty quickly, I'd imagine.
Oof, dear. No, I mean, we're missing all this action now because of these game glitches at the beginning of the game. This is really quite unreasonable, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Oh, God's sakes, look at all this going on and we can't catch any of it because this damn game won't sort itself out. This is absolutely infuriating.
Strangely, everyone that's outside of the zone is quite spread out. It seems like everyone that's in the zone is all fighting over the same bit of land.
Yeah, we're still absolutely stuck here with the game not instancing in properly. This is absolutely crazy. Happened at the beginning of game 2, happening in this game as well, and it's just so annoying because obviously early part of the game is when you're going to get a lot of action. Oh dear me, I really do need to start fixing some of these glitches in the game.
Yeah, we have had a lot of bugs recently.
At this rate, we're just going to be spectating people running on the spot, which is crazy.
Yeah. So it looks like I've got B4V and CA.
Right, I think we might have actually sorted itself out and caught up now. Oh dear me, this is really getting ridiculous.
So B4V still got all 4 players. It looks like they've got a knock on one of the players from Team 7. Team 7's starting to push.
Yeah, Manish going out there. They've established a knock. Manish has now been knocked.
There's a 1v1 now for these two.
There is another player from 7 still running around, but he's a little bit separated from this fight.
Yeah, so they've got 3 knocks now. Going to get the revive on Manish. And I think the player from Team 7 is actually rotating away from this fight. Yep, Hades running... Not running... It's unfair to say running away because it's a tactical decision. Sometimes you've just got to make the most of what you've got.
Yeah, separated from the rest of the team there somewhat. So when got into it, and here come the yeah, this is going to be brutal. Here we go.
Yeah.
So
I would say if this were one of our level scrims, the pans and the fists would be coming out just for bragging rights.
Yeah, I think that's frowned upon at this level, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we look like we're up and running. My apologies for it's not as if I control what happens in PUBG. But yeah, we seem to be up and running. So some early kills for three guys from CA taken out pretty quickly there. And yeah, we've got quite a few teams to the north here, Jamie. People already starting to make their way in.
Yep, Team 18 quite spread out there, but they are making their way in quite nicely. Team 29, Team 10, who were the furthest northeast, they're making their way out past Podvosto now. About to come across Team 18 by the looks of it, up near Mount Kresnek. Whether they're going to just drive straight past and head to zone, I don't know. Yeah, I think they just kept going. So deciding that getting to zone was more important then.
Yeah, actually, sort of almost heading in the wrong direction now, aren't they?
Maybe they're looking for a better vehicle. I'm not sure.
Okay, here we are with the guys from squad number 11. This is Vengeance. They're getting into it with team number 8.
It looks like Spectre won't be doing the heroics of the first 2 matches. No, Spectre taken down by 7 Atoms Cheetah.
Yep, and that looks like the guys from 7 Atoms claiming 3 kills there.
See Team 12 on the far west there. They did jump fairly central to the zone, but they rotated out towards Mavatra to get some good looting going on, and pretty safely on their own as well.
Damn me, this is getting silly now.
So you see one of Team 18 has been knocked, and the other Legend also been knocked. So we've had a thirst and a knock now.
And looks like he's heading out of this. Okay.
They were the 2 that rotated on the snowmobile. I think they probably came up to Team 14 by the looks of it, who dealt with them pretty quickly.
So we're down to 55 players left alive, 16 teams. And Looks like the southern coast may well feature. Centre zone is around the Dino Park area at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like there's one of your drops out in the middle of the ocean there.
Yeah.
So a surviving member of Team 7.
Not too far away.
No.
And
some good lean peeking going on there.
And didn't manage to get much in the way of loot. Still only got a level 1 vest, no helmet, so doesn't really want to be getting into a fight, I would imagine.
No, I mean that explains more. You know, the tactical retreat, I think we'll call it. If you haven't got a helmet, then going up against the squad that's just killed all your teammates, it's not just a bravery thing, is it?
Not really.
It's a sensible tactical move.
Okay, potentially got some contact going on up here. Squad number 15 up in the north.
Yep. In fact, player 2 from Team 15 has been knocked.
And these guys just looking to rotate. So again, I mean, we had a little bit of contact at the beginning, which unfortunately we missed due to the rendering issues. But again, I mean, we've got 54 players still running around here. So
yeah, and I would say they're relatively spread out, but they're not. They seem to be in sort of pockets.
Oh, not a good time to drive into a tree when somebody's shooting at you, especially one of those vehicles.
Yep. We were discussing these vehicles earlier, and as soon as you start taking fire and take chunks out on rocks and trees, it doesn't take a lot before these things explode.
Yeah, I think took driving lessons from Siren there. Let's check out the guys from 7 Atoms. Looks like they've just come out of contact.
Yeah, so they've got some good loot. We've got another player from Team 15 over there in the town. So virtually everyone apart from one from Team 21 in zone now. So it was a fairly hard shift down to the southwest, but most people have made it in. A few early casualties.
So we're here with B4V. They look like they're not too far away from the guys from IQ. We've also got squad number 6, Toxic, not too far away from this one.
Yeah, so we've got someone up in the tower there, likely to be trying to get some sniping going on and some high-level cover. See, they've parked the vehicle inside the building. Just try and protect it a bit. Great work with the M4 there through the doorway.
And I think that was Knight who took the knock there, wasn't it?
Yep.
Or got knocked. However, one of the guys from IQ already dead, one knocked.
I'm just wondering if he's going to go over and get the revive. I thought he might have tried to blow the vehicle, actually, which is visible through the doorway.
And we got, what are we saying for that one? BB, I suppose.
Yeah.
Looking to just make sure these guys aren't going to get flanked.
Some good cover, so they can't. Yeah. It's not their job to get up close and personal and get into the initial damage. It's just to make sure there's no one flanking, and also to make sure no one escapes as well.
So after a bit of initial contact, these guys are obviously now just being a little bit wary of each other, and it looks like the guys from IQ potentially rotating away from this one.
Yep, taking fire from Team 5 though as they try and rotate away.
And yeah, putting some rounds out from the roof, but looks like they've managed to disengage. There's our next circle.
Relatively gentle for a V Kennedy zone. Most players will be in the zone already.
The guys like you haven't gone too far away.
No, obviously just gone to go and do a bit more looting and then come back with some new goodies.
Okay, let's check the rest of the map. So these guys fairly central. Looks like 23 coming up onto a flare drop there. Onto an airdrop, sorry. No, that's somebody's already hit that one. I'll look at it.
Yeah, I'm guessing if there's a cheek pad, it might have been a Mark 14 or an AWM that was in there originally. So someone's got some loud guns.
So we're going to be, looks like, potentially looking around the Dino Park Abbey area. We'll see where the zone shifts, of course.
Yeah.
May well get a hard shift off to one.
Well, being Vikendi, we've got to have at least one hard shift.
But 48 teams still playing. 48 players, 16 teams.
Interesting, because we had 16 teams a while back, but the number of players has thinned out. So we've had a few teams where one player's been taken out, one or two players, but the rest have managed to get away.
And okay, so we've got a couple of quads around here. And yep, and look at this. Everybody seems to be around here. A lot of players.
Yeah, 7 Atoms haven't already taken out a squad.
So we've got squad number 22 and 21 basically virtually in the same compound. Looks like a knock has been established on one of the players from squad number 21. That's Boom Team. Squad number 8 not too far away. And oof, that was an effective molly. And is that... Oh, Dan, no, that one actually managed to establish a knock there. So only one member of squad number 21 up and running now.
Yeah, this could be interesting. If someone else can push that building with only one member still up and going. Dancing around with the pan there. Now, one thing I did find out is it doesn't work if you're running, but if you carry the pan when you're walking normally, people can't hear your footsteps.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting game glitch.
So you'll find, yeah. So you'll find a lot of people when there's something like this, so that they can't work out where they are in the building. They'll actually carry a pan while they're walking around.
So a lot of players, they've got the guys fighting with each other inside this compound, but we've also got players third partying the hell out of it. We've got 3 teams in and around this compound, all being very wary of each other.
And team 10 as well. Third party.
Well, it looks like we're fighting floor to floor here.
Even laid out spike strips.
And that is Junior knocked.
So Team 10, who were fighting with Team 5 over at the Abbey, also trying to get the third party on that location as well.
So plenty of action around that central zone there, but it looks like the guys from Legend are going to walk away from it. They've managed to rack up 10 kills so far.
That's good going for this. Not earlier, I mean, what are we halfway through, just over halfway through the game? Already got 10 team kills. They're in the new zone as well. Not quite centre zone, but they've got a good compound. And they'll have plenty of loot from all the crates that are hanging around. It's strange with the perspective on this one, because I thought Team 12 and 19 might have been pushing the compound, but they're further away than I thought they were.
Yeah, one thing that's not helping at the moment, I don't know if it's just something that's not working at the moment, but my orange circle flashes, normally flashes when you get contact between squads. That's actually stopped. So,
Okay.
So you hear gunfire and you want to try and find out who it is. So.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Team 19 and 16 might be coming up against each other. I'm assuming that A Young from Team 6 is actually on their own and just doing a good survival job.
19 now looking to get into it with squad number 16 from Jen. However, we've potentially got is that a solo player from 7 coming in at the rear?
Yep, so that's Hades. I think it's Hades from the last remaining member of Team 7, about to stumble upon Team 19.
And there's a drop coming out right in the middle of this fight. Out go the nades. There's more fighting going on with the guys from 12 and 22.
So 22, they've got the 10 team kills, but they're having to defend this compound now.
And looks like Ahmed has been knocked. Still got the guys from 10 not too far away from this one.
And this compound now out of zone as well. I see Z has got the Grozer there, which is a hell of a weapon, especially in a close-up fight.
So, just fire from absolutely everywhere here. The guys from 19 are coming under it a little bit. Still battling it out with the guys from 16. One of the guys from Toxic also not too far away. Right, here we are with Indra putting in the work with the M762.
Thought I was watching Bushka then. M762 and an interesting outfit.
They managed to pick up a couple of kills. These guys down to 31 players, 10 teams still left alive. Hades still out there.
Yeah, I think they know there's someone else out there because they would have cleaned up that squad, but maybe they know there's another player out there somewhere, and they do seem to be looking for Hades now.
And this is the fight that was going on a little bit earlier.
Looks like it's coming to a climax now.
Oh, doing a great work there.
Taking down 2. Lovely drop shot there.
Not messing about. Thirsting both of them up straight away.
Yep. And the rest of B4V had already rotated out. So, yeah, that's some great work there. On winning a 2v1.
And looks like we got... looks to be very predominantly...
Heard a flare gun go off there. That's a very late stage for a flare gun. Very good compound here.
And here we are with the guys from SD. They're putting a hurt.
Yeah.
On.
So after that great 1v2 win, Grace was it? I think from Team 10.
Yep.
Gets taken out by SD.
Okay, and it looks like we're going to have we've got a number of teams still very close. We've got 2 surviving members of B4V, and there's at least. What's that, Jamie? At least 3 teams in that small little compound there. Plenty of people camping the outsides, overlooking from the outside.
Yeah, so this compound will be in the next zone, but we could see a little hillside finish.
Here we are with Jen. Now these the circles has shifted now. They're putting the hurt into bad boys.
Yeah, doing some great work. No kills yet, only 2 team kills, but putting some great damage into the other squads.
But these guys are all out of circle now. Hades still running around late game.
Yeah, 30 seconds to go till the zone starts moving, and these guys are going to have to start thinking about rotating.
Yeah.
I mean, James said Team 16, they have got a vehicle.
So the guys from B-Bit Bad Boys are looking to potentially change location and rotate, but they came under a lot of fire doing it. Check out Valentine. So we're down to 17 players left alive, 8 teams still contesting. Phase 7 of the game, and a lot of these players that are still alive are outside of circle.
I think there's only a couple of teams who are even in or close to the circle.
Looks like 16 now going for fast rotation to get in.
Yep, I'm coming under a lot of fire by the looks of it, but they are in zone.
And 16, yeah, basically crashed into a rock, used a bit of cover. Still got Bad Boys and the guys outside of
Hades
circle
from Team
fighting it
7
out
still
over
in.
there.
Yeah, Hades from Team 7 managed to get in zone on their own.
And these guys really struggling now. And no, Valentine's not going to make that one. So Rudy, the only member of the team still up and running, and now really facing it, having to coming very quickly.
Oh, that was a move.
And Rudy's now been taken out, so that squad taken out. We've got 9 players left alive.
Yep. So Hades here, not quite in zone, but 40 seconds to go for the next zone. Managed to get a kill, or at least a knock.
14 looking very good. They've got themselves some hard cover here, right at the edge of the circle.
Yeah,
so
they've got numbers, they've got cover.
They're looking very good at this moment in time. They got Force Zeus, last surviving member of 23, out of circle and has to push. Got sole surviving member of 16 from Jen out there, and another guy from SD. But you have to say, you wouldn't really want to write off the guys from 14 here.
Absolutely not. And here we see they're not in the buildings. They're not just holding the buildings. They're holding the compound by rotating outside of the compound and holding a perimeter. So they're looking out in every direction because they know this people are going to be coming from everywhere.
RS0 certainly got the advantages here. So, however, that's one of the solos taken out, but he's in turn very quickly taken out. And we're down to 5 now. And we've got a sole surviving member of SD and getting pushed on aggressively by RS0. Manages to get the knock and thirst on one, but no, that ultimately the numbers told there. And great finish from the guys from RS0. Great action coming in to final phases of play on Vikendi. So, in first place, RS0 with 12 kills. In second place, we have SD. They have 6 kills. And in third place, we have Delta Force with 3. Our kill leader in our top 3 is FW something with 7 kills there. Don't think we saw anybody lining it up quite that much. We'll have a quick look down.
Yeah, we'll see if we've got 4 or 2. No.
But no, nothing that matches 7. So the one of the players from RS there with the individual kill leader for that game, and I think that pretty much makes them the squad kill leaders for that game as well. So Bad Boys did very well though. They picked up 10 kills. So that concludes game number 3 on Vikendi. We'll see you very, very shortly for game number 4. We're just going to take a very quick break and we'll be back into it very soon indeed. Bye for now. Okay. Hi there, boys and girls. And, okay. So, apart from the problems we had at the beginning there, some exciting stuff on Vikendi.
Yeah, it's hard to pick out a main feature of that one because it was some pretty constant action. Some very good individual gunplay. Particularly, there was a 1v2 with a very sweet drop shot
Yeah, I did notice that. It
from
was
the
very
player
good.
from Team 10 on the 2 from Team 5.
I'm hoping that I'm not going to get any more problems this evening, but yeah, I don't know what's going on at the moment, but I had the same issue actually. Funnily enough, last night with the game not instancing at the beginning. Don't really know what's going on at the moment.
And I have the same because I was spectating that very same game.
So
I'm screen recording, and I have the same where it just wasn't loading up at the start.
yeah, obviously a few problems with the game engine at the minute. That quite often happens after a big update.
So it's quite interesting. We're seeing some teams getting to the further reaches of each game, but we haven't seen one team absolutely dominate yet.
No, and I think that's the first time we didn't have one of the guys from one of the teams from Kuma in the top three actually there. So yeah, we've had different winners in all three games, haven't we?
And we saw there with Team 14 on Vikendi.
Yeah, the guys
But in the end, they had numbers at the end of the game. Everyone else was solos. They had a whole squad, and it showed.
Yeah, I mean certainly the last surviving the last surviving member of SD there did well to sort of get the drop and thirst on one of them, but when you're going to get pushed on by four at the end of the game, where there's no real hiding at that stage of the game. I mean that's it'd be spectacular if somebody managed it, but yeah, you're not. It really is too much of an ask, that one, I think.
Yeah, and he did, like you said, he did well to get the thirst as well because he knew that by getting that thirst, he was going to get taken out. But that's one more point for his team.
Absolutely, yep. Kill points are always incredibly important. So, yep, Sarnok. So, this should be an interesting one. Certainly, I think the last time we watched the Sarnok game, we didn't actually notice too many, but we did have a couple of teams in Paradise. But I think actually Boot Camp got left alone, didn't it?
It was I think it was one or two squads in boot camp, but Paradise was completely empty.
Oh, was it that way around?
No,
Right.
yeah, nobody dropped Paradise, which is a lot of people dropped up on the Northwest Island, up around Camp Alpha, and then had to rotate around the bridges. But yeah, there was only a couple on boot camp and no one on Paradise, which was very surprising.
Yeah. So I know a lot of teams. I mean, they because pretty much everywhere is from a sort of strategy point of view. Actually, Sarnok can almost be one of the easier ones to deal with because pretty much, unless you've got a very extreme flight line, pretty much everything's in range.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of where you're going to jump, yeah, you pick your favourite compound because you can just get there from any flight line. So you find that a lot of squads will have their favourites and they will be set on it because you don't necessarily have to have a secondary jump like you would maybe on Miramar or Erangel if your primary jump spot is out of reach. Sorry. So everyone will have a primary jump spot on Sandhawk, and they will fight for that jump spot as well.
Yeah, I certainly played. I can't remember when did I see. Oh, I think it was in Clan Wars actually when I was playing for Grassroots. Basically, if you were in a game with a clan called very good bunch of players actually, clan called Gods of Greece. If it was a Sarnok game and Gods of Greece were on the plane, you basically had to make a decision as to whether or not to go Painan because they were going to be there. It was that simple. They dropped Painan every single time. So if you wanted to try and take on one of the big hitting teams early part of the game, that's where you dropped. If you didn't, then you avoided it. I mean, I sometimes think that. I mean, obviously, some teams they do. They just are. We've got some teams are more successful than others, and sometimes I think if at some point you believe you're going to have to take them on, sometimes doing it on the drop is the best time to do it.
Yeah,
Taking them up when they've all got their best loadouts on them, maybe not. If you're in a team that's not quite so good, you might as well try and take it on early.
absolutely. And even if you've got not the best gun, I mean, they might have a crossbow or a revolver. They're as likely to have good loot as you are. But at that stage, it's a lottery, really. That very early time. So yeah, like you say, if you're going to go up against a team who you know to be a very good team, not to say better, but they're a very good team, then do it when, yes, you might be at your weakest too, but you know for a fact they are as well.
Yeah, yeah. So no, don't get me wrong. That's not always a successful strategy. I've crashed out in scrims in the first 5 minutes a few times doing that. But quite frankly, pretty much everybody's crashed out first 5 minutes of scrims at some point. So right, everything on the stream seems to still be coming through fine. So I'm hoping we don't get the instancing issue at the beginning of this game, but we'll just have to deal with it if we do.
Yep.
Looks like we're only a couple of minutes away from the plane. So yeah, just let's have a look. So we had it was RS0 won our third game there. Was it the second game of Miramar now? Who was it who took that in the end?
Oh dear.
Can't remember. It was that mad fight, right? That mad fight right at the end. Well, that's pretty.
I don't think they've worked it out yet either.
Yeah, we have to start writing this down. Yeah, there's a couple of teams. Certainly, Bad Boys. I've noticed they've certainly been racking up the kills. They're quite regularly putting in some good kill numbers in all of the games. I think this evening.
It was next gen, by the way.
Yeah, next gen. That's right.
There we go. Yeah, so you see some of the teams who get the high kills. I would put B4V. Yeah, there's a few that are sort of up in the top. Third of the teams, and generally with the higher kill counts.
Yeah, and IQ actually been featuring certainly featured in a lot of gunfights in that last game of Vikendi.
Definitely, and it was the IQ player that we saw with the 1v2 against the B4V.
Yeah.
Up at Abbey. I say some great individual gunfighting in that game.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting fight around Abbey. It sort of all kicked off, and then everybody had a rest for 5 minutes, and then they all got stuck in again. So it's quite a good one. That. Okay, yeah. So I think we're too far away from the lobby now. Certainly, players into the game. I'm hoping that we're not going to have an issue with players getting kicked again.
We've got 79 in room already. So yeah, I don't think there's any latecomers this time. Oh, we've got one potentially.
Yep, looks like we've pretty much got everybody. Potentially one more player left to join, and if we manage to get all 80 in, I think that would be the biggest lobby we've had actually this evening.
Yeah, I mean we've already got 20 virtually full teams apart from one, so it's a good job they're on the smallest map, isn't it?
Well, let's yeah. Let's hope we don't get anybody who hasn't had the map downloaded. Hopefully, those that did in the last game have very quickly gone for an update or download.
So it looks like we've got 79 out of 80, which is pretty good going, and no one was kicked. See, for everyone watching, you'll notice that Vimes goes very quiet at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the just please join the game. Just please join the game. And I think we've got the same problem again because this match clock isn't moving.
No.
And yeah, there's obviously a major glitch in the game at the moment because this has been in every single lobby. I don't think we had it game 1, did we? But we had it games 2 and 3, and looks
No.
like we might potentially have the same problem here.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculously infuriating. But yeah, that match clock's not moving. So we're probably going to have a couple of minutes of the game not instancing in properly, which is ridiculous. I'm really hoping that they manage to sort this out soon.
Yeah, so there we go. Everyone's gone off into the aeroplane.
And
so what we'll see is if we see the map view, what we'll see is players start to parachute out. So it will give us an idea of the flight line as they start to go. So it looks like we've got a western start. So it might be a fairly central west to east flight line. Which, as we know, it doesn't make such a big difference on Sandhawk.
And looks like 24, or certainly 24, seemed to be over boot camp for a little while there.
Yeah. No, we've got our flight lines actually appeared.
The flight lines actually appeared. Right.
Yeah. So we've got a few. We've got at least a couple. It looks like over boot camp. We've got a few over. It looks like they're heading over south of Lakawi towards port, and we've got some movement.
I got a little bit of it's still not quite right. I've got parachute sounds and movement sounds in my ears at the moment, so that's a bit confusing. Yep.
Early contact, so we've had 2 of Team 18 already, 1 taken out and 1 knocked.
Okay, so here we are with Erin from here again. And that is the guys from B4V.
Yeah, and you see Manish up on the hill there getting a good overlook, so Legend can't afford to just sort of run out into the open here, because Manish has got a good high ground overlook.
He's coming in, so they might not actually be aware of the other guy's location just yet.
No, maybe not.
A couple of early kills to the guys from B4V. A lot of players up in the northern part of the map jamming.
Yeah, so we've got a few. Yeah, absolutely. We have got a few over boot camp. Looks like 1 squad at Paradise. Bit of early contact. At Kampong. So fighting on the edge of the zone, this will be once it starts closing in.
So this is the guys from Gen getting into it with Daruma. And they're basically getting a good surrounding position on these 2 players.
Yeah, very good spread there.
And
make sure they're getting from multiple angles.
And jumping in between the buildings there, and that's Taz 97 knocked, thirsted up. So we've still got 2 players left alive. And looks like the guys from 16 aren't going to let this go. Looks like they're looking to push in.
Yeah, they've got them well surrounded now. They did a very good job of spreading out around the buildings.
Yep. And looks like you might have a look here, though. Yeah, I managed to get the knock up with the AK there. However, taken out from the window there, and that is the team wipe. So 4 kills early on for the guys from Gen, and they're going to walk out of there with all 4 of their team members up and running. So great work from those guys.
Yeah, I mean, see, pretty much everyone in zone. I mean, it's not too bad a zone here. It's not like a Vikendi zone, of course, because the first one covers virtually the whole of the map anyway.
And here we are with Sweden turn 1. They've obviously come under some pressure here, and yeah, that's them taken out by SD. And
Here we exactly what we were talking about before the Vikendi game. Talking about rotating using the water and how rare it is, and someone doing that in Sandhawk.
but it does. And these guys are a little bit split up, aren't they? So
Yeah.
maybe they've gone for a split and that's not worked out, and a couple of members down already.
Yeah, they are a fair distance.
So let's have a quick look at boot camp. Got IQ in there with the guys from Legend. Everybody's still up and running at this moment in time, though, so it's been a reasonably quiet start.
So like we said earlier, it's not about defending the building, because as soon as someone comes in...
Did great work there getting the knock, but I think they were third party from outside of boot camp there.
Yeah, so Craze, who chased the Legend player into the building, who then jumped out of the building, got third partied, but Craze then still managed to get the kill. The Team 6 it is up there on the hill getting the third parties, just watching all of this happen.
Yeah, that's the guys from Toxic up there. And IQ, once again, in the thick of the action. They don't seem to be ever too far away from it, these fellas. You're going to get that, though. If you, yeah, you're going to get that if you drop boot camp, though. You don't go there for a quiet afternoon, do you?
No.
Getting the smoke onto his teammate, but his teammate is outside the building. It's going to be a risky one to try and go for the res.
Yeah.
And yeah, quite wisely said to his teammate, "Get down here if you want me to heal you."
Makes it. And Bosco, you see, has actually come down.
Yeah, I think Bosco was
wondering where his quarry's gone, I think.
But yeah, great work there. I think that's a mistake that certainly I was guilty of making. I think a lot of us have made when you first start playing scrims. You know, if you get knocked, you expect your teammates to come to you, and actually it's your responsibility to get to them if you can.
Absolutely. And also, as the person that's doing the reviving, sometimes you've got to, you want to be a good teammate.
That was always going to be a risky one, jumping down on two of them. So it's just Bosco now from this team. I think
so you want to try and be the good teammate. Sometimes you just have to tell them no.
And I think we've still got all four members of IQ up and running, haven't we, Jamie?
Yes, we have. Yeah, they're all still up and going. So they survived early knocks and a few early gunfights.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So they're obviously aware which building he's in. In comes the nade, does a little bit of damage, and here comes gunfire through the windows. Orf manages to get a few rounds in though.
Yeah.
But yeah, here comes the push. These guys aren't messing about, I don't think.
Team 6 still looking from... Yeah, so they've taken down one of IQ.
Yep.
Team 6 from up on the hillside.
And looks like
that's why they're a bit wary.
And it does look like the guys from IQ are taking a bit of a hurt. What should have been an easy... What should have been an easy push, they're actually having to pay for. These guys from 6 third party, and this are really making them pay for it.
Helping out Bosco.
Manages to get the first on one and drops the second. Great weapon switch there.
Brilliant.
Great work from Bosco. I have to say though that the guys from 6 who put the hurt onto IQ when they're coming in at the vital moment for the push really did him a favour there, but no doubt about it. Great gunfighting skills.
Yeah, and he made the most of it. He could have been much more passive, but instead he was putting shots in across from building to building, and then made sure he actually went out and got those.
And that has really cost IQ. The guys look to be in a very, very strong position. And that third party work from Toxic really knocked the wind out of themselves.
Absolutely. So, I mean, otherwise, what we've got right now would be a 1v1 between Bebe and Bosco. But because of that third party...
And, is he gonna manage to get this out and get the med in just in time? My word, he was down to about 1 HP there.
Yeah.
There's a great molly coming in from Bosco there, doing some great work. And now more rounds coming in. They're just not getting it. These guys from Toxic, they're just not letting them get a moment's peace, are they?
No, but you know that the guys in this gunfight are absolutely loving it. That's why they drop boot camp for this sort of action.
Yeah, the guys from Toxic, they've picked up 2 kills in that exchange of fire. And they've made, well, they really did make IQ pay for that. IQ looked to be in a very, very strong position here in boot camp.
Well, we both thought they were just going to go. It was going to be a basic, you know, not simple, but they've done the hard work, so they could go in for the push on one player, and then and then that happened.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you for keeping your head down, mate. Okay, let's check out the rest of the map. So our zone has shifted, so boot camp is not going to feature in the final parts of it, and the water in the river is not going to feature at all, because that can sometimes make final zone selection on Sarnock really tricky when it centres on this sort of 3 coastline area here. So yeah, it looks like we might be having a bit of snaky towards the end here, Jemmy.
Absolutely, and look at Team 6. They've rotated away from boot camp. They've left the hillside, so they've given up on their third party and they're going across towards centre zone by the looks of it. So it's going to be, you know, you have got a compound centre zone, but there's a lot of open ground out there.
Yeah, there is. Let's check out the guys from Delta Force. They may well be running into the guys from Toxic pretty quickly.
So yeah, Team 6 Toxic already very well warmed up. Team 23, no kills yet.
Yeah. Already put, so that's team number 6 Toxic again, putting the hurt on.
Yeah. Unusually, it's not a third party this time. This is them just taking the fight.
And yeah, that's a flanking manoeuvre. And these guys from Toxic really are proving to be obviously enjoying Sarnock, because they're playing it beautifully at the moment.
They're spoiling everyone else's days, aren't they? They really are. And getting involved in everything.
And these guys from Delta Force really under it. Getting hit from 2 different directions here. That's 1 down. Blade just manages to get some meds in. Goes to relocate and is in turn taken out.
I think the best view of that is on the mini map. You can see the squad from Team 6. You got 2 either side. Absolutely brilliant pincer movement on them there.
They're just bracketed this
round.
Yeah, they just bracketed this position really, really well. And I don't think he's going to be able to get to his teammate. No. So that is Mason here from Delta Force, the last surviving member of his team. And the guys from Toxic, they're taking no prisoners today.
I think he now knows that he's got people either side.
He probably thinks he's got 3 squads out there, the poor god. So there's our next circle. So we do have a couple of small compounds that may feature in the later stages of the game, but yeah, we're going to be pretty open, I think, Jamie.
Yeah. There's not going to be a lot of hard cover.
And he managed to survive by the skin of his teeth there. And yeah, eventually taken out, but that was a bit of third-party work coming from, I think that was Tier 18, wasn't it?
Bit of a taste of their own medicine there. So Team 6 have a kill stolen away from them by a third party from Team 18.
They picked up 4 kills, these guys, already. And they've got themselves compound right in the zone, so we'll see that this may. We'll see if they want to try and defend this, or because that's certainly going to be a target for a lot of teams coming in to rotate. We've got 17 and 14 coming in from the northeast.
Yeah, I see Bosco's just left boot camp. Bebe's about to leave boot camp. So they didn't manage to finish each other off, and they're actually about to start rotating into the next zone.
Yeah, rotate late. I think when you're a solo, it's probably your only way. Skirt the edge of zone. Okay, let's check out some potential action here with squad number 17. They're getting into it with... Oh, God almighty. These game glitches are just becoming unworkable. It's crazy.
Yeah, at some point they're going to have to sort this out. It happens too often in spectator mode and in the game itself, but certainly in spectator mode. Oh, we've got some movement coming.
Okay, so SD getting into it with our winners of game number 3, RS0. And goes for the thirst there, but is in turn taken out. And that is very SD taken out by RS0 there. And we've got Toxic, who are still occupying this compound earlier. 7 atoms coming in from there.
Yeah, so a lot of teams around the edge of the next zone here. There's going to be some late rotations. I think. Oh wow,
that was a good nade. So Redrun certainly felt that one. and here's managing to get a few shots at Spectre there.
Spectre just managing to get behind the rock.
And out goes the nade. Not too far away with that one. But these guys have got to move now. Phase 5 of the game. And all very, very open. Do your best hard cover, trees and rocks. But that is also sometimes the problem with Sarnok. You've got to rotate pretty much everywhere on foot.
Yep. And you've got to do it quickly as well. The zones come thick and fast on Sandhawk.
So, next circle has broken, and this compound that Toxic managed to establish themselves in earlier will be slightly outside.
Yeah, they're holding it for now. One of them has been knocked, though.
And looks like one of the guys from SD fighting the blue on the way in.
So Jen got an early centre zone. There's not a lot of cover for them. Although the zone's now broken. Put some good QBU work in there.
The guys from Toxic, they've lost a member, but they've managed to get their teammate up after a knock. Let's check out the guys from 7 Atoms here. They're outside the zone, and there's no easy rotation for them.
So it looks like Team 6 have been taken out by the looks of it. I think by Jen. Was that or by 7 Atoms? Sorry.
Yeah, looks like 7 Atoms have done a push on Toxic, so great early part of the game, but they've now been taken out. We're here with RS0 and Vengeance. And looks like Vengeance might be now out of the game. They are, so we're still here with 7 Atoms and Jen. Down to 10 players, 3 teams left alive. We've got RS0.
He's in a very difficult position here. He needs to try and push out the blue, but everywhere he goes, there's someone shooting at him.
And these guys all got to move in. I have to say, RS0 controlling this space. They know they don't have anybody around them, and everybody else is fighting to come in, so they're controlling the space beautifully. And that's
There
the
we
work.
go.
That was great zone control at the
Brilliant.
end there.
Brilliant.
Great work from RS0, winners of games number 3 and 4. Really exciting stuff at the end there. So they take the win there with 15 kills in second
Again,
place.
I was just going to say that they take it, and it wasn't just passive camping the zone, making sure they had centre zone. With 15 team kills, they earned that.
Yeah, absolutely. Great win there from RS0. In second place, we have the guys from Gen with 7 kills. And in third place, we have 7 Atoms with 4 kills. So let's have a look. Suanai with 5 kills, our kill leader in the top 3. Let's have a look if we have any other noticeables. A Young from Toxic picking up 4. 5
Ravrex.
for Ravrex there. So yeah, looks like Sunai is going to be our individual kill leader for game number 4. Okay, boys and girls, some fantastic games tonight, and good to see lots of different teams coming into it. But certainly games 3 and 4 there, Jamie. You have to say RS0 playing the final zones in both games very, very well indeed.
Brilliantly. They held the zone, they fought for the zone, they made sure they had it, and they had it in numbers as well. They fought off other teams to get there, and then they made those numbers count.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the other squads, they had to fight to get into zone. On the edge of zone, they were fighting the blue, they were fighting each other. And then they came up against a very well organised Team 14.
Yeah, I mean that zone at the end. I mean, they literally spread themselves across it and just went forward, beating the ground, didn't they? Effectively, they knew that everybody else was fighting to come in.
You could see the bullet trails on the mini map. They were just lasering people.
Some great good individual gunfights. So one of the things I enjoyed about that game, I mean, Toxic taking out coming in the final stages, but they really did make people pay for being a bit too close, didn't they?
Well, yeah, and we saw over in boot camp with Bosco, Legend, was it? I think.
Yeah.
Legend Bosco. But there was a push in boot camp, and we thought Bobby was finished. Bosco was finished. We thought it was going to be a 3-on-1, a 4-on-1. Really good some defensive shots, and then of course those shots started coming from the hillside from Toxic, the third party, and that helped him out so much.
Yeah. I think that was probably the most well for me anyway. I think that was probably because I like Sarnock, but that was probably the most exciting game of the night for me. Have you got a particular moment or favourite, Jamie?
I think that part in boot camp, the IQ player in Abbey taking out the 2 from B4V.
Yeah.
With that beautiful drop shot. And I think what we've seen, as always, I love a good rotation. I love the strategic play. So we've seen those that could get back to the final zone in numbers took the win each time.
Yeah.
They made sure the numbers count. And on that, it was the last second revive in Erangel in the final circle. Just to make sure that when they ran up, they had two guns going at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That revive was so important.
Yeah, absolutely. That was what got them the win in their first game. Anyway, boys and girls, thank you so much for participating in Tip Top EU Open Scrims. Thank you to everybody who watched and supported the stream. I'd like to say thank you to Jamie for doing a fine job with the co-commentary this evening. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
No worries at all. And okay, boys and girls, I believe that we'll be streaming Tip Top Open Scrims. I think I'm down to stream again actually on Monday night. So may well see some of you then. Until then, as always, I'm Vimes177 Gaming. Good hunting and bye for now.